Moving on to the main content, it's going to be core exercises with weight. So the workout itself is going to include weighted crunch, tuck and crunch, modified V-sit, crunches, hanging leg raise, hanging knees raise, twist. So all of these are going to be done with 20 reps or 3 sets. And for a weighted crunch, obviously there's already weight added, but if it's too hard for the client, then you can remove the weight. And if it is too easy for the client, then you can obviously add the weight. And pretty much all of those you can add weight to in some sort of form. This workout itself is important for the client because if he's developing all of his other muscles and his core muscles are staying relatively weak, it's not going to be. It's the work he's putting in isn't going to be as effective. If he develops his core as well, he's going to have a strong core for all of his other muscles to work. And also, if you're trying to develop your athleticism, if you don't have a strong core, it won't be as effective in a game situation like basketball. Jumping and stuff like that, it requires a strong core. So yeah, a core is an important thing. That's why I've put it into the program. That's why I think it's relevant to my client, relevant to his goals. Even though it wasn't a direct goal, his goal to become better at basketball, this will help him. So after he's done 3 sets of 20 reps on each, he's going to have a cool down. So using the foam roller for deep tissue massage, he's going to roll all portions of his leg. He's going to roll. He can roll the abdominals in his what am I talking about? The abdominals. And then while walking, you can stretch. So marches, that's a good stretch for the core because it's lifting your legs up. It's contracting your abdominals. Sweeps, lunges, basically just circulating the body. It doesn't have to be abdominals. The core is going to be used in most stretches anyway, even if it's not directly using it. And it's basically just to keep the heart rate high so that you're moving blood around your body and the lactic acid and stuff like that can be removed. So, moving on to session 3, which is cardiovascular continuous training. So the warm-up, dynamic stretches, so marches, lunge with a twist, resistance band work. So with the resistant band work, it's going to be side steps and lunges, and I want him to do that 20 times on each leg. So, and then continuing with the dynamic stretches, sweeps and high knees. This is good because it's going to warm up his legs really well, ready for the main content. And the main content of this session is a 10-kilometer run. So obviously this is a progressive overload. He's going to be working at 70% of his maximum heart rate. And although we did a 10-kilometer run in a previous week, this is important to keep his aerobic endurance up because he's been doing fartlek training and gym circuit this week, which is good for explosive power. And although fartlek training is good for endurance, a 10k run which is continuous cardiovascular training is the most effective way. So 10-kilometer run at 70% of his maximum heart rate, and however long it takes him, it doesn't matter. As long as he's working at 70% of his maximum heart rate, the adaptations will occur in the body. So after this, the cool down, a light jog into a slow walk and some static stretches. So the static stretches are going to be done on the floor after walking on his tiptoes and his heels. So taking off his shoes, it's going to be toe touches. He's going to bring his feet into a groin stretch, lower back stretch, glute stretch, hamstring and quadricep stretch. And then after he's done those static stretches, because of the 10k run, it is quite a big run. It's long. It's probably more intense than the other sessions in the program. So he'll need more stretching because there's probably more build up of lactic acid, more waste product to be removed. So a more extensive stretch is required. So after being on the floor, he'll go to the wall and he'll have a stretch where his his lead leg is bent, his back leg straight, and vice versa. So his front leg's straight and his back leg's bent, and pushing against the wall. That will stretch your hamstrings and your quadriceps. And then the side to side with the legs. So you're side on facing the wall and you swing your back. It's just with full range of movement. It's just to create more blood flow in the body. So week 6, session 1. It's fartlek training again. So warm up, 5 minutes, 50% of their maximum heart rate on the rowing machine. Is to raise their pulse, get their body warm for the session. So the main content on the rowing machine. So the warm up was actually mimicry. It's going to be it's basically getting the person ready for what they're going to be doing in the fartlek training. So they're pre-prepared to do the training in the warm up. It's not like they're doing stretches and then going into rowing machine, which is completely different. It's doing 5 minutes of the rowing machine at low intensity and then going straight into the fartlek training on the rowing machine. So at the start, it's for 5 minutes, 75%, 15 seconds at 90% after that, and 10 minutes at 60%, and then 10 seconds at 95%. And this is good because obviously it links to my person's basketball. They're going to be working their muscles for a set period of time. They're going to be working at a high intensity and then dropping off to a low intensity at some points and then back to a high intensity, and they need to be prepared to do that. And although it's necessarily not linked to running because it's arm movement, it's still, you still have to say if my client was dribbling the ball and they had to keep the ball under control in a very intense situation, then it would be intense exercise using all the muscles in their body. And then say if they had to go on defense and do something else, it all links to it because it's preparing the muscles to be able to change the intensity and keep a high intensity up and then drop down to more of a steady state kind of intensity, a moderate intensity. But yeah, it's just teaching the muscles how to do that, and then the cool down using the foam roller. Foam roller's very effective because it reduces the scar tissue, and it gives relief to the tension in the muscles. So yeah, using foam roller is very effective. Okay, moving on to week 6, session 2. It's a good gym circuit again. So the warm up is going to be dynamic stretches. So lunges with a twist, T push-ups, high kicks, jump squats, and knee to chest. And I want my client to do this for 30 seconds on the spot. So it's only about 3 to 4 minute warm up at the start. Just to get the muscles warm, get the blood circulating the body, get the heart rate high, basically get it ready for gym circuit so it reduces the chance of injury. So the main content in the gym session is going to be focusing on arms again. It's just to keep the strength of the client up. It's, strengthening the arms, very good for basketball because there's a lot of different aspects you need strength for. For example, ball control, shooting, defending. A lot of aspects that require strength, and if you don't have it, it makes it very hard. So the exercise that I'm going to go through: Arnold's, bent over reverse fly, overhead tricep extension, bicep curl, tricep extension, bench press, chest press, and then for each of these, 3 sets of 10 reps. So after completing those, a cool down, 5 minutes on the treadmill to keep their blood running through the body more quickly, basically removing all the waste product that's just been built up during the session, and then also reducing muscle soreness in the future. So week 6, session 3. The warm-up's going to include a resistance band, so resistance band and BOSU wheel. So with the resistance band, which is I want him to do first, he's going to do side steps, so 20 side steps with each leading leg, jumping jacks for 20 reps, and then squats for 20 reps, all with the resistance band on there. And he's not looking to push himself too hard, it's just to warm up the legs. And then with the BOSU wheel, I want him to do kneeling hip flexor, pyramid pose, and then downward facing dog. And these are just warming the muscles up, preparing for the exercise. So the main session, I want my client to do, this is HIIT training, so they're going to be high intensity, alternating side lunges, burpees with a tuck jump, mountain climbers, jumping lunges, forearm plank, and then plank jacks. So each of these will be carried out for 1 minute with a 30-second rest in between. And if the client finds these too easy, he's not struggling with them, I'm going to up the time that he has to do them in. So it'll be 1 minute 30 seconds if he finds it too easy, and that's going to push him. And then this links to my client's goals, as because he wanted to improve his athleticism and his aerobic endurance. And this is a very good way to increase aerobic endurance, because you're having to work for a long period of time without stopping, and it's explosive movements. So that's going to increase his athleticism and his ability to go into a basketball game and perform explosive movements. So moving on to the cool down, using the elliptical, do 5 minutes at 50% maximum heart rate to just cool down. Obviously, once again, keeping the heart rate high so that their waste product's removed, and then therefore, once the waste product's removed, the muscles aren't going to be as sore when you're finished with the session in the future.